Hey guys, I'm Reggie Ponder, the Reel Critic, and this is the Reel Critic Roundtable. We got my boy Sean Edwards, we got Katia Woods, and we got Al McGee. We're gonna get into our first segment, and that is the movie Hamilton.
The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter.
Sean, what is this movie about, man? Everybody, is a lot of fanfare about the play, but what is this?
All right, well, first of all, let me correct you real quick. It's not a movie. What a lot of people don't realize is that every Broadway production is recorded. It's usually recorded for the purposes of being archived. They did the same thing with Hamilton. The difference is Hamilton became an extremely popular Broadway experience. I mean, it broke records. The cost of the tickets were astronomical. It caught fire, particularly in the mainstream. It's one of those rare occasions where it sort of became like the thing you had to do in a certain sect of the population. Therefore, it kind of like hit the stratosphere, and it just it created a life of its own. It became a true phenomena. So during the pandemic, the deal was already signed for them to like show the recording of the act, it's just a recording of the actual musical. There were already plans to show the recording of the actual musical on Disney Plus to help generate, exposure and help generate subscriptions for their, it's new-ish, streaming service. But because of the pandemic, they pushed the date up, and because of the pandemic, it created a heightened awareness. Because let's be honest, I mean, Hamilton it is a brand. I mean, people know it. Even if people hadn't seen it, there's some vague familiarity about what it is. It's this musical with this diverse cast that deals with the life of Alexander Hamilton, that's got, hip hop beats, hip hop lyricism. People know about it. So, I mean, when you have something that big, yeah, you get it out to the world because you don't have to really like explain to people what it is, and you're naturally going to get a lot of traffic. And it did. It broke a lot of streaming records. But the problem is a lot of people have been like incorrectly calling this a movie, and a lot of people have been debating, is it going to be eligible for, the Oscars? Is it going to be eligible for the Emmys? Okay, no, it's not eligible for the Emmys because it's not a TV show. It's not eligible for the Oscars because it's not a feature film, and it already won 11 Tonys, which is what you win when you're a Broadway musical. So I mean,
You killing it, Sean. Like I said before.
No, but here's the important thing. What it is it's definitely a sign of the future of where we're headed. And this whole debate on when are people going to return to movie theaters just suffered a huge blow. Because one thing we discovered during the pandemic, there's a whole generation of folk out there who are growing up on nothing but streaming. And, I have 2 young kids, and they haven't once asked me during this 4-month lockdown, when are we going to see a movie at the movie theater? We really miss seeing movies at the movie theater. And when you start going to the vault and throwing out like recordings of Broadway musicals, and Prince like released a 35-year-old concert that got millions of views. I mean, the theatrical experience is going to have a really tough time, and there are a lot of things happening during the pandemic that are really going to be problematic for that experience.
Wow. So Katia, you saw this on Broadway, you saw it in Philly, and now you've seen it on the big screen. Talk to me about what's to like about this, and so I'm so glad about this presentation.
Well, first of all, the number one thing is that Broadway, it puts a light on Broadway. Broadway is, I don't care what anybody says, the most difficult thing that you can do as a performer. 8 nights a week. 8 times you have to do it, and you have to do it perfectly. There is no second take. You have to sound amazing, and it shows you Broadway performers are the most talented people in the business. Point blank period. They're the most underpaid, but this just shows you the range of the talent of these folks. I think it's amazing because, again, I mean, Sean talked about it a little bit. Most people don't have. Tickets were going for anywhere from $300 and up to sit in the orchestra area. I got lucky. I have an American Express card. So that's how I got my tickets the first time. American Express had a deal, and we were like, don't get me wrong, I cried a little bit, but it was worth it. And then we won Hamilton Lottery when it came here to Philadelphia. It is an experience. I'm a big believer in theater, so I've always gone and supported the theater. Again, I'm one of those fortunate people that I kind of budget for it. But what it did is it made this play, this musical, available to the masses, which is important. Our kids need to see theater. They need to see people that look like them doing theater. Because again, even though you've had things like Ain't Too Proud to Brag and Choir Boy, but these were specifically Black shows. The majority of the shows are still white. How long was Phantom on before Norm Lewis became the first Black Phantom? So unless you're specifically doing something Black, what Lynn did is basically throw the playbook out and show that these guys were mostly unknown. Maybe I think 3 people in the show have prior experience on Broadway.
That's right.
And if you hire the talent and you have a good thing, people will come, and people are still coming. I guarantee you. So as soon as we get a punishment, people are going to line up and buy these tickets. And as bad as people say the economy is, they're going to come. It's an amazing thing.
So Al, what did you like about this presentation on the screen?
First of all, Hamilton, this film version of Hamilton is one of the best films I've seen, or one of the best versions of a Broadway play I've ever seen. First of all, you can hear the lyrics. You can see the facial expression. You can also view the choreography of the actors as they move around. And also you can really see that stage, how it's made, and also how it operates to make the play real, to make the play believable. Now, I used to be a former college professor, and one of my classes I used to teach, it was about art and things like that. But I would always try to get my classes to see a Broadway play because they never saw a play. Everyone had cable, but they never saw a play. So all my students couldn't go because they couldn't afford to go. But when they went, they were so surprised. In fact, one time, I took my class to see a play, and one of my students said, "Mr. McGee, this is better than television." And so this Hamilton presentation was better to me than television. I really enjoyed it. And also, not only that, you can see all the work that went into Hamilton, and also why it is a success, because it really incorporates all of the great American musical styles, and also great American musical dancing styles too.
Where I feel a little bit different is that we're talking about the plays, right? This presentation on TV, or on streaming, excuse me, I buy into the fact that this is a phenomenon that people are not going to try to see Phantom of the Opera. Let's put the Phantom on there, and now I want to check that out. I think that this particular presentation on a streaming service is one that's going to be so much different that people shouldn't get too carried away to think that, okay, now I can take every play that goes on, or most of the plays, or almost any other play that goes on Broadway, and put it out there. That's what I thought Sean was saying, and I personally agree with that, but don't tell them. Don't tell them I agree. Go ahead.
No, but there's more plays.
But my question,
there's 3 other plays you can do this with. You could probably do it with Evan Hauser, another hot Broadway ticket. You know what I mean? Especially if you get Ben Platt to play it. You could probably, it's not every show. Like if you did The Little Mermaid, that probably wouldn't. I think Lion King has been exhausted, but I definitely think like if you did Evan Hauser, if you did, like I said, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, these are the hits on Broadway. These are the shows that people want to see, but can't get in to see because A, they're sold out, and B, they're too expensive. And remember, we used to have Broadway shows come to us on TV. They used to show The King and I. I mean, I'm not that old, but I remember they used to make it accessible. So this is not a new thing. You know what I mean? That's how that's
why I started. No, it's not. It's not new at all, but there's nothing else. There's no other musical you can stream that's going to even come close to the popularity of Hamilton.
So Al, you had a question, and then
my question is about. She mentioned it hasn't played in Europe, but thing about it is, do Europeans really care about American history?
Yeah, they care
really
about this
care
musical.
about that.
They care
And I
about
told-
this musical.
Right.
They
Right.
care
Prove
about
my
this musical.
point. The only thing that works like that is Hamilton. That's my point. There's nothing else you could do.
They
that's
care
gonna-
about this musical. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Right.
and this
So-
is like, honestly, every couple of years you have a musical that hits lightning. You know, whether it's Cats, people still don't understand how that show is a hit, but that was the longest running show on Broadway. Whether it's Chorus Line, about people like, well, why do people want to see a show about dancers? Somebody did, because a lot of shows.
They're popular shows, but they're not phenomenons. That's a huge difference in definition.
Yeah, so for me, I felt that the sound was uneven, and that was my criticism because I was trying to learn all the words. So my criticism, I would have liked a little bit more even on the sound.
That sound system you got.
Hey, it must be me. See, I don't get paid like y'all. So see, that's my problem. Nah, but that's my thing. All right, we're gonna move into the next.
Go back and watch it with the subtitles on. If you go back and watch it with the subtitles,
many people are doing that.
Greater appreciation for the you'll have a greater appreciation for the lyrics as well. Go back and watch with the subtitles.
Really great tip.